Broads Media.
That was ridiculous. That was fantastic out of Aaron Nola. In what world did he really just give you that effort? I mean, I'm not doubting that he can. He's been really good this season. But seriously, we demanded this bullpen to get some rest. And even game 3 of this series, while I thought the Phillies were in control the whole way, they weren't able to put them away the way I would have anticipated, to the point where David Robertson had to come in. I didn't like what I saw from Nick Nelson. Christopher Sanchez was fine, giving you 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. That's sort of what the idea is when you know that he's getting the ball. I mean, a quality start against a shitty Reds team, you know, that's kind of what you think you could maybe squeeze by, and you did. But, man, I'll tell you what, Aaron Nola was ridiculous. That 8th inning, a couple guys get on base. You wonder what's going to happen? Strikeout, strikeout. He finishes with 11 Ks, 0 walks. And he got a lot of attitude in there, a lot of swagger. And before I hear that the Cincinnati Reds are such a disgraceful baseball team, there should be zero acknowledgement and we shouldn't really put him on a pedestal for it, shame on you. Because it's not as if when the Yankees, in their best form early on, when they played a really horrendous baseball team, that Garrett Cole was automatically giving you 9. Great pitchers see bad teams all the time, and they could go 7 and allow 1 earned run, or they can go 7 2/3, allow 2 earned runs, maybe walk 2, 9, crisp. I mean, these pitches were the perfect form of ew by Nola. And that's why I didn't overreact when I saw him pitch poorly against the Mets, knowing that the outing prior to that was awesome and electric. It's not time to write down on paper in pen that it's Aaron Nola collapse season. It's Aaron Nola collapse month. Yeah, he knows the narrative. He knows what's going on. He hears the noise, trust me, from people I speak to that's close to the squad and is always very active in the baseball world here in Philadelphia. He has heard what the public perception is. And I like the fact that he answered the bell this way. And I wonder how much motivation was in there, even more, that extra push, because of the news about Zack Wheeler. And hearing Zack Wheeler needs to miss a couple starts, he rose to the occasion. Once again, the Reds are an embarrassment. I've never seen someone like Zimmer slide into second base and somehow scores on the play. How many times throughout all 4 games were they just launching the ball from the outfield to nowhere's land? I mean, it would land in the middle of the infield, and everybody's looking around. The pitcher's not going anywhere. He's just standing there, basically shrugging his shoulders, looking around. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life, and trust me, I've seen some bad years of Phillies baseball. It's still not easy. It's still not simple to keep the pitch count low enough where when you did get into a little bit of trouble with a couple men on, you still have a leash. Because you look back up at that pitch count, it's in the 80s, it's in the 90s. Okay, it's only at 100. It's like, all right, keep going. We got you. And plus, we can get some rest. So it kind of sucks, though, that there's one big report that crushes all of the positivity. We love this team beating bad baseball teams. It's not a bad thing, okay? I don't want to hear from anybody thinking that it doesn't matter. It matters, because this team has been left out of the postseason before because they couldn't beat the stinking Marlins. Now, if you're an awful squad, you hate to see the Phillies because they beat up on you. And oh, by the way, they did it in Game 4 with one of the worst lineups in the history of the world. I had no problem with it, though. There were a few individuals out there that despised Rob Thompson for it, thinking that he was just putting out a piss lineup. You had what? The back-end guys actually provide your offense. Stubbs doing dirty work, getting on however way he can. Veerling, Zimmer, Sosa, right? I mean, those fellas were rocking. And, of course, Kyle Schwarber in what world? That thing went 8,000 feet. There's got to be a dent in that wall out in center field. That was obliterated. 35 homers. I'm keeping him in the leadoff spot. Bryce Harper is going to be activated on Friday. The dude is raking in AAA. He's hitting walk-offs. He's hitting opposite field bombs. He's pulling it to the right side. You name it. You know where he bats in a lineup, third. So the question becomes, what do you do? And I think for the beginning, and I'd be willing to change if there are things that I don't love, but in the beginning, I'm going Kyle Schwarber leading off. Alec Boehm hitting 2. Bryce Harper hitting 3. JT hitting 4th. I love the way that this guy is playing at the plate right now. Rhys Hoskins batting 5th. Castellanos 6th. From there, do what you want. Because I'm thinking of too many righties. If Segura bats after and next behind Nick Castellanos, it's a ton of righties. So if you want to go Stott, then you want to go Segura, and then whatever you're doing out in center field, maybe you do something like that. I don't know. Your DH spot is going to be solidified by one individual again, though. So just think about that as you process the lack of versatility. All right? But I am a little concerned with all the righties after Bryce. And I know that if you lead off Stott, and then you put Rhys Hoskins, and then you got yourself Bryce, maybe JT, then Kyle Schwarber, you can definitely do lefty-righty, 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 and work your way through the lineup for a good portion until the end, possibly. Actually, I've seen one where Stott was batting last, Schwarber batting first, so that gave you 2 lefties in a row. But, I mean, at some point it's going to happen. I just think I like where we're at with Schwarbs. And I know Stott is the future, and so is Kyle Schwarber, though. I think Stott is the future leadoff man as maybe they continue to build forward. But for what they've done this season and their identity this year, it's all been predicated off of when Kyle Schwarber's been available, him being there. Guys have had to been utilized for a stopgap. And maybe that said person becomes a prime leadoff guy eventually. But for the short term, let's rock and keep it where it's kind of been in my eyes. When I look at the 7-5 game in Game 3, it was definitely an uglier baseball game than you would like. But that happens. All the best teams in baseball, the Dodgers. I promise you not every single Dodgers win is 13-1 in their crushing teams. Let's look at the Braves because they're going to catch the damn Mets. I guarantee you that the Phillies play the Mets in the first round of the wild card in a 3-game series, and the Phillies are playing on the road. I think that's how hot this Braves team is, and I trust them more than I do the Mets, even though this Mets team is better than teams in the past. Sure, they do score 14 runs, but they still win 2-1 against an awful Pirates team. That stuff happens. So it doesn't matter how at times. Doesn't matter if it's Sosa, if it's Stubbs, if it's Veerling, if it's whoever, and it's 4-0. It doesn't matter how. Just do it. There's too many games. And hell, even in football, it happens. It's not as if every Los Angeles Rams win last year throughout the regular season was money. Let's look at the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl. The game against the Falcons came down to the wire, a final play in the end zone. The Eagles make a big-time defensive stand, but they did not dominate. They did not look lethal. Their offense was not clicking the way it was after Patrick Robinson's interception against the Minnesota Vikings when you had one of the greatest NFC championship games in the history of Major League Baseball, in the National Football League. But anyway, I am nervous about Zack Wheeler. That I can't run away from. He's going to miss 2 starts. It makes sense, though, with what we saw against the Mets. Now, publicly, there's been some discussion about him saying that he didn't feel bad, and it's the best he's felt in a couple years. And then, what do you know? With a blink of an eye, here's Dave Dombrowski speaking about how let's be cautious and then let's get ahead of some things because he is extremely valuable to this team down the stretch, and we'd rather work through the kinks that's happening now compared to maybe later on in September. They seem to be too ho-hum about it. They seem to be, I'm not too worried. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'll wait and see. I don't feel great. This is a guy in Zack Wheeler that had problems with New York or with injuries in New York. It's been okay since being in Philadelphia, but there's a lot of wear and tear from last year. He's a go-getter. He's a workhorse. He's that type of guy. Is it catching up to him? I'm not trying to feel negative. And when you sweep the Reds, you should be pumped up. You should be. 4-game set. I mean, this team, I wrote down the stat that I saw from NBC Sports Philadelphia. The first time the Phillies swept 4-game series in 69 years. So this isn't an easy task to do at the clip that they're doing it. And then Bryce Harper returning. Are you serious? I feel we were spoiled throughout him being here. And then when he's gone for as long as he is, you know, this is the reminder of don't take it for granted as he's putting on a show for the guys with the iron picks. And think about how hard that is to do. He's one of the best baseball players in the world. All right, he's an NL MVP in Major League Baseball. So I'm not acting as if going to AAA is some tough task for him to rake. But he did say that he was a little nervous. And there is this acknowledgement of small town, all these AAA local people. Like, it was a show. He had to go there to entertain everybody and do some damage, do some work. He has that pressure to do it at Citizens Bank Park and when he's on the road, but I do think the rehab stint is a little different. If he looked bad, it's like, whoa, we can't even hit AAA pitching right now. I wasn't scared thinking he wasn't, but I'm just laying out all the possibilities. And what we got was the best case scenario. But this guy's just a pro's pro. There's added pressure when it's in the small town and all the eyes are on you and you wonder what it's going to look like. And he clearly even exceeded expectations. But he's ready. And I'm so proud of what this team has done while he was gone. And the fact that they were magnificent, the motivation for Bryce Harper to return to be a part of this, to be able to run to second base and extend a single into a double, put one into the outfield. He saw Bryson stop being aggressive, getting on second base early, that type of stuff. I mean, I'm sure this guy is ready to lose his damn mind. Think about what Bryce Harper is processing watching this team play baseball. Think about the blood rolling through his veins, him dreaming every single night of being in that batter's box again and making sure the bank is packed and the place goes bonkers when he drills a ball to right field that goes over the fence for a 3-run late home run. In September, continuing a nice lead, a nice comfortable lead in a second spot, maybe over the Milwaukee Brewers, and looking at the San Diego Padres each night. Come on. You know he's aggravated from the storylines talking about what happened with the Washington Nationals when he left town. And then really with this team doing it somewhat again, not winning the World Series without him, but another year where Bryce leaves and the team has stellar excellence. And that's no knock on Bryce Harper. I'm just saying, I'm sure he was bothered by some of the remarks from his former teammates and just wondering how the hell did that actually happen in Washington. Look how much of a disaster franchise they are, having to get rid of a Juan Soto while you're hoping and praying that any prospect you bring back is half as good as Juan Soto. Every time you bring those big packages, you know who ends up winning? The team that acquires the star. Because all you do is beg and beg that one of these players can actually be okay. Look at Mookie Betts and the Boston Red Sox. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But, yeah, I mean, they keep talking about with Wheeler knocking it out. What's going on? Now they're going to try and knock it out. All right. We'll see. I'm holding my breath, though. Is that the saying? Or is it don't hold your breath? I'm holding my breath. I'd probably die I don't think that's the good way to go about things here. Whatever the phrase is, let's go with that one. I'm scared. That's bad. One of the reasons why you're in the position that you're in, and we always point out all sorts of players offensively that had their runs. But this starting pitching has been great for you. It starts with one of your best pitchers in the National League. Why are they built for a 3-game series? You know why they're built for a 3-game series? Because Wheeler and Nola is at the top. Other teams have solid starters, too, to counter your 1-2. But those guys that we just mentioned, it begins with them. I loved Aaron Nola's response tonight, though. This wasn't just okay. It looked better. This is one of those nights that you don't forget about. There's a few of those. Each year, we always look back at. Some get lost in the sauce over 162. We can't lie. But a complete game shutout in 2022, is pitch count being as low as it was. You talk about off-speed pitches breaking off the plate, but guys being fooled anyway. Poor hitters, but filthy stuff. Oh, I was jumping off my couch, especially that eighth. That eighth inning when Nola gets the strikeouts. And you can hear the 20,000 rise. And this better be 30,000 this weekend. 30,000 plus. 30,000 should be the bare minimum. Get your ass to the ballpark. And we were talking about this on the radio today to the point where Tyrone offered a couple out there to DM him on Twitter and say, look, if you want to go to the game, I'll get you tickets. I'll buy you tickets. Because we looked up tickets because we always hear that it's too expensive now to be. And do what the grade is, but there's still $20 tickets up top. So he said, all right, I'll pay for a couple to go. And I matched it. So we're sending people to the game. Get there. Because this team deserves it. They're on pace to win 90 games. I thought they'd win 86 with Bryce Harper all year long. They missed Kyle Schwarber, too. Castellanos has sucked for majority of the year. JT sucked until Toronto. And they still are continuing to climb. It's pretty hard to even fathom. It looks like Bailey Falter is going to be getting a nod here, so just something to monitor. I wonder, too, how much of their decision with Zach, if it is more of a precautionary move, although I have some skepticism and thinking it's a little bit more than that, was because of how well Sanchez and Falter did their last time around the clock. And seeing that there's some poor teams, could they keep winning these games with just blah type of guys praying that they eat some innings? It just depends on how many they're going. A 3 1/3 type of outing would crush you, especially because you're losing so many bodies. When is Sir Anthony Dominguez really going to be back and ready? It's a lot of questions. This is the worst time of the year to be dealing with these types of problems. At the same time, most of the players have overachieved whenever they needed to, collectively as a group, or one individual carried. So is that trend going to continue, or does it run out of gas at some point? I don't believe this is a collapsed September team. Nah, I don't believe it. All right. 856-442-9805. We got some text messages coming into the Anytime Hotline, some calls as well, but I'm going to glance over some of the text messages tonight. Before we do, if you are looking to get tickets for your event out there, maybe Citizens Bank Park this weekend, you can utilize the promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout page for $20 off of your purchase if you are a first-time user with SeatGeek. So that eliminates the fees. It's a no-brainer. That's free parking. Get yourself to a game today and this weekend. Okay. Here's a text message. This individual did not leave their name, but absolute professional outing by Nola. If anybody's saying, well, it's the Reds, I'd contest that it doesn't matter who the opponent is. That was a masterclass outing with implications. On the day that we heard the news about Wheeler's new IL stint and our recent struggles out of the bullpen needed a restful night. We needed a professional deep outing by Nola, and he gave it to us. The hunt for Red October continues. ... Dot. I love that text message. And yeah, I think a professional outing is a great way to describe it. And, we always talk about Rob Thompson pushing buttons because it seems to work out to our advantage more times than not. I mean, there's a couple times I didn't like some moves, but seriously, 97%, I'm co-signing and I'm signing on the dotted lines. All right, so the bottom of the lineup, he went for a funky day. He went for a weird day. Bryson stopped batting third, and then 6, 7, 8, 9 in the lineup, 7, 8, 9 in the lineup. I mean, laughable for sure, but figured maybe you can do it. And he was right. Those guys deliver. Sosa is knocking in runs for you. Big at bat, timely, huge. Not only was this big for the pen, but why did Rob Thompson start Christopher Sanchez? I want to give my other starters and the rotation one more day of rest. We feel they can need it. Does Aaron Nola do this if he didn't have that day off? Of course, the rotation would be different and all set up differently and whatnot, but he just, it's still him out there on the mound. Was there a correlation with how fresh he looked, keeping the pitch count down, with Rob Thompson saying, yeah, you know what? Take another 24. Take a little breather. Relax, cool down, calm down. Let's take that extra time because this is how, it needs to go. We need you. Carry us. Bring us home. Doesn't he look different? Doesn't there seem to be some pissed off type of feelings when Aaron Nola's throwing the ball every single pitch? I even thought during the postgame show, or I guess it's not really the postgame show starting yet, but it's when they have the interview after the game when Bryson Stott poured some water down his jersey, that was the most personality I've seen out of Aaron Nola, I think, ever. I keep going back to that commercial every time I feel there's a lack of personality out of him. I donate. Do you? Well, give me a little more something, Nola. You're donating. I donate. Do you? Give me more. Give me like a 10. He gives me a 0, a 1. But I think that pissed off attitude and how great he feels is a reason why maybe you're getting a little more in that department. Or I'm just an idiot. One of the two. All right, Josh from Barrington checks in. 33-20 with no Harper. What does that mean to you, bros? Okay, what does that mean to me? It means that Dave Dombrowski built a really good culture here. It means Dave Dombrowski, there's a reason why he looked at Kyle Schwarber and said, get this guy in my clubhouse. What does that say to me? It says Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm are growing in front of our eyes. Stott could do it all. Stott showed me power. Boehm showed me power. Now, the other day, I did think that this was a bit bizarre. The other day, Alec Boehm was removed from the game, and there was some speculation that there was a groin or a quad, or I forget exactly what. Hold on, I wrote it down here on a different page. I think I originally wrote groin, but it was a quad, yeah. And the response after was, we just wanted to steal a base. I don't know. And then he's not in the lineup today. Are they hiding some things with Boehm? He'll probably be right back into the action on Friday. But are they trying to downplay some stuff? Really, you're taking Boehm out of the game? She wanted to steal a base? It just sounds funny to me. 33-20 without Bryce Harper makes me feel fantastic about the direction of the franchise. Andrew Painter's moving up the ranks. All these prospects you look at, the way Dave Dombrowski's moving these players through, or, just looking at this franchise and getting everybody on the same page. I'll never forget Jim Salisbury talking about where the current organization was when Dave Dombrowski first came in. He just said, this place is dysfunctional. Not one person through the ranks knows what the other person is feeling or how the other person is thinking, or what they're teaching. They got different philosophies. They're broken. And now all of a sudden, these cats are rising through everywhere. That record is a display, and it describes Dave Dombrowski. All right, we have a text from Chase Yo, bros, I just want to recognize how great of a move it was to get Hall up here while Harper was hurt. Man, did he do his job of hitting for power out of the DH spot? Yeah, I mean, he can only hit certain pitchers, but for what it was worth, I think he showed some optimism on maybe what he can do. He's got a lot to work on from, one side of pitchers here. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, he stepped in, and he definitely did well. He definitely did well. Things left me intrigued. There's still a lot to go, but there's really no spot for him at this current moment. How many DHs can we possibly have on the roster? And with Bryce Harper needing that spot to play, and I don't even want to think about what needs to happen in the offseason for him to get back in right field again, one step at a time, and I'm thinking of this stretch. But yeah, unfortunately, there's just not a spot for him. You'll see him again, though. I'm just saying for the right here and the DH spot and all that. You'll see him again, though. I promise you that. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much. I'm so pumped up thinking about Bryce Harper's return tomorrow. So we will talk about what occurs when we get a chance to, when this team takes the diamond again. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you on the next one.